welcome to the Weekend Salaryman. My name is Stuart and I'm on a mission to document my journey as a photographer and videographer using the Fujifilm ecosystem. I share the gear and the settings that I use as a hybrid shooter, all while showing you the best that South Korea has to offer. If you're new to the Fuji ecosystem or you're simply looking for creative inspiration, then please do consider hitting like and subscribe as I share with you my creative process while showing you all that South Korea has to offer. In today's video, I want to give you a review and kind of user experience rundown of the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 lens. Now, this is not a new lens. I picked it up about 2 months ago, I think it was. And it's been out for a while for the Fujifilm ecosystem for X-mount, but as a relatively casual user who doesn't primarily shoot portrait photography, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this lens and why I might not buy it again. We'll talk about the image quality, the handling, and some of the quirks that this lens portrays. So the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 is a relatively affordable 127mm full frame equivalent portrait lens, kind of telephoto length lens for the Fujifilm X-mount. Price, which is about I think $400 or $500. I'll put it up on the screen, but you get pretty good autofocus. You get a very fast lens at f1.8, nice wide aperture. You get a decent kind of composite construction, and you get a 67mm filter thread diameter. So this is what the lens looks like, with the lens cap on. I think this is a metal construction, if I'm not mistaken. The lens hood, some people have complained that it is a bit finicky, which it is. I do struggle to get it on and off. But overall, this is a very hefty lens. It's a very chunky lens, but I don't mind that. I feel like, it gives a feeling of professionalism. And for me, on the XS10, which has the slightly deeper grip, I feel like it balances really well, although you might not have that same feeling if you're using one of the smaller Fujifilm cameras like the XE4, XE series, or perhaps if you even got an X Pro 3 or X Pro 2, it might not balance it well. But I feel like for me, on the XS10 and probably on the XS20 as well, it balances just about right. Looking at my video notes here, I do see that it's priced at $400 US, which is significantly cheaper than the Fujifilm 90mm f2 lens, and which is also a lens that I would like to kind of put it up against at some point. But one of the main reasons why I bought this lens was because I got it super cheap. I was using a second-hand app here in South Korea, and it was listed for the equivalent of around $260 US, which is like pretty much a basement bargain price. And so I just couldn't pass it up. I picked it up secondhand. It was in relatively good condition. Still had the box, still had like all the materials and everything. So I really lucked out, and that was one of the reasons why I bought this lens. If it was full price, I don't know if I would have paid full dollar for it. Now let's quickly talk about image quality, because at the end of the day, that's what you look for when you buy a lens. I have to say the Viltrox doesn't disappoint. The bokeh looks great, for portraits, it's simply fantastic. Never shot with a lens of this length. I think the longest that I've shot on a regular basis was back when I had the Sigma 56mm f1.4, which is like 85mm equivalent on full frame. So I haven't shot with something that's this tight, and so it has taken me a while to get used to it. But when you nail your portraits, the results are really rewarding. Wide open, it's sharp in the center. It's not super sharp in the edges, but if you do stop it down, the sharpness definitely increases across the frame. And the bokeh is really good. I'm really happy with the bokeh. The bokeh, I would say, if I had to describe it in one word, is predictable. It's not super like crazy. There's no formations or any sorts of weird shapes going on. It's just nice, it's controlled, it's predictable, and you'll get consistent results in terms of background blur from this lens. Vignetting and chromatic aberration, I honestly don't pay that much attention to, but I do feel like in the cases that I have checked for them, they are pretty well controlled. Overall, I'm super satisfied with this lens, especially considering the price that I got it at. Now, autofocus is not bad, but I do find that in low light, it struggles a bit. It definitely hunts. And again, I think part of that is down perhaps to the focal length being such a tight lens. Especially if you've got moving objects, it does tend to hunt a little bit. So I feel like it's a combination of the lens perhaps and the Fuji's, or my Fuji XS10's autofocus system, which is a little bit dated. If you're doing a portrait shoot though, there's nothing really to be worried about. Again, if I had to use that word again, it's predictable. You know, if you're shooting slow moving subjects or stationary subjects, then you definitely won't miss a lot of shots. The motor as well is pretty quiet, it's not too jarring, so if you're doing video work with this lens, you won't get any weird noises in the background. So with all the tech spec stuff out of the way, you know, I want to talk a bit about this lens and why I perhaps wouldn't buy it again. As I've referred to already, 85mm on APS-C and by extension 127mm, that telephoto length is a pretty niche focal length, and so your use cases really are either, I guess, portraits, you know, some people might want to use this for sports shooting, but in any case it's a niche lens, and so I'm not really a niche photographer. You know, it's not my workhorse lens, it's not a lens that I use all the time. And I was also looking at the Viltrox 85mm f1.8, which has been getting rave reviews all across YouTube, but again, considering how seldom I shoot portraits, it didn't make sense to get that lens, and it was pure luck that I ended up getting this lens for so cheap. That said, I want to be able to take on portrait jobs at short notice, and that's pretty much why I started shopping for an 85mm in the first place. My workhorse lens is and will always be this one over here, which is my Sigma 18-50mm f2.8. I use that, I'd say, 90% of the time, but I didn't want to get the Fujifilm 50mm f1.0, I think it is, or the 56 f1.2 or the Sigma 56 f1.4, just because those focal lengths are already so close to the 50mm f2.8. So I just felt like I would be doubling up in a sense in terms of focal lengths if I was to go for those 56mm lenses. And that's pretty much how I ended up with the Viltrox 85mm f1.8. So in conclusion, to sum things up, if you're looking for a portrait lens and you're only starting to get into the genre, or you're a hobbyist, you're an enthusiast, then this absolutely, I would say, even at full price of $400, between $400 and $500 is a good buy, and even better yet if you can pick it up secondhand. A lot of people have said this, and I have to agree that the image quality punches well above its price class, and you know, comparing it with images that I've seen from the Fujifilm 90mm f2, it really takes the fight to more expensive glass. Autofocus holds up well, image quality is fantastic, and the build quality is great despite its lower price point. If you're a Fuji shooter and you're looking to get into portrait photography, then absolutely I would recommend this lens. And that's it for my review of the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 for Fuji X-mount. If you have any questions about this lens, please let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. And if you did find this video useful or you got value from it, please do hit like and subscribe as I document my journey as a photographer and videographer using the Fujifilm ecosystem. And if you're looking for some recipes to try out on your Fuji camera, then watch this video on my 4 film simulation recipes in under 4 minutes, which I recommend you